with your host, Farah Laurent. I'm the proud founder of International Nurse Coach, and I'm a nurse career coach for nursing students, new graduate nurses, and experienced nurses, basically looking to level up in their career or make transitions right to that next level to get their specialty area position or even just make transition to leadership, education, academia, whatever it is. So I'm excited to have this opportunity on this platform. So I'm streaming to a couple of different areas, and I will have my chat on. So if you happen to be on LinkedIn, drop me a message, say hello, tell me where you're watching from, put the city that you're watching from or country, whatever it is. I'd love to hear from you, and I would love to hear any questions or comments that you may have. So, for those who don't know me, I am a nurse, and today's episode, I'm going to be basically just briefly talking about my journey as a nurse, right? Starting out as a nursing student and moving on to where I am now in this journey. So, for those who don't know me, like I said, I started my career in Canada, and I went to nursing school there. And the reason, I wanted to share this with you is because I know there's a lot of nursing students that are going to be graduating very soon in December, some in May, and then some that have, just different graduation dates throughout the year. Wanted to share this to just give you some insight into my career, um, and, some advice and guidance as you go through your own journey, right? And really share, just some tips to you guys and to let you know that um, it will be a journey for you, right? And you may have multiple positions, or you may stay in one position for your whole career, right? But just to share with you the opportunities that are available to you as a nurse, right? The opportunities are endless. And I'm so proud to be in this profession and to be a nurse. And I try to always bring the positive light to nursing because I know, it can be tough sometimes in the nursing field and in the healthcare arena, especially now with everything going on. But just to let you know that there's always opportunities for change, opportunities for you to pivot and change into what it is that you really want to do. And if you're not happy where you are currently, it's okay to make a transition. So I wanted to just share with you my story and how I've of overcome many challenges, hardships, and really developed this mantra of being adaptable, right? And just continuing on this journey. So, like I said, I started as a nurse in Canada. And as a nursing student, actually, I was told by one of my clinical instructors that I would never be an ER nurse. And that stuck with me. She asked me, what type of nurse would you want to be? And I said, I would love to be an ER nurse. Like, that is what I love. And she basically looked me in my face and said, you'll never be an ER nurse. And she said, oh, you're too unorganized for that. So I couldn't believe it, right? But of course, I took that as motivation. And I said, okay, watch me, lady, in my head. And I said, I'm going to be one of the badass ER nurses there are around, right? So, of course, I got a position in the ER before I even graduated, which was unheard of really before. It was very rare. And before I even got my licensing exam, right? So they hired me. And for you nursing students out there that are watching this, if you truly love a specialty area, I would highly recommend in your last semester or your last rotation or wherever you can, try to get in that specialty area as soon as possible. So only two of us got to go to the ER, and I was one of them. Over, I think there was like 100 and something of us. So definitely take that opportunity. And when you get there, make connections, right? Make connections with not only your preceptor, but the other staff members that are there. Because I took full opportunity and immersed myself there in the ER, and they loved me and they saw how hard working I was and how passionate I was. And they told me, you should apply here. And they helped me through that transition and I got hired, right? So that's one big advice that I have for you nursing students out there watching. Again, if you happen to be just joining, please say hello. Put down where you're watching from. Let me know if you have any questions, comments. And if you happen to be watching a replay, I'll definitely answer any questions or comments that you may have. So that was my journey there, right? So, and then I ended up getting all these certifications uh, in the emergency department. So three of my certifications out of six are in emergency medicine. So I'm a certified ER nurse, certified pediatric emergency nurse, and trauma certified nurse. So I went on later to become a level one trauma nurse. I worked in different trauma hospitals in Detroit and in New York City. I became a TNCC instructor, which is a trauma instructor. It's kind of like the equivalent of ACLS, but for trauma. And I absolutely loved it. So, my message to you is don't let anybody else discourage you from going into the specialty area that you want, especially if you're a new nurse. And if you are an experienced nurse, don't be afraid to make that transition. And I know it can be scary, but definitely get a position where you're going to feel supported and where you're going to get a proper orientation when you make that transition, because you will be a novice to that area. You may be maybe like an OR nurse for 20 years and maybe you want to transition to something else, right? It's going to be a transition either way, but just know that you have the skills and the abilities and the knowledge to make that transition. And that's the beautiful thing about nursing. There are, over 80 possible roles. And I know this because I did a live LinkedIn on it last time and I listed out all the different nursing roles that you could do. I wanted to say hi to someone from Nairobi, Kenya. Hi, hello, thank you for watching, Ronald. Appreciate it. Um, so definitely know that you can make those transitions, okay? And just make sure that you get a position that's going to support you. So later in my transition, I left Canada and did travel nursing here in the US. So I had about 5 years experience in the ER before I moved on to travel nursing. So for those who are interested in travel nursing, you definitely can do it. If you're a nurse and maybe you're watching and you're from Canada, where I started, you can get to start working in the US, but you need to do, all the paperwork necessary. I had to get a TN visa, which is a trade NAFTA visa. I had to get a visa screen and go through immigration and all that to be able to come to the US and work. But it is possible. And you need a job offer and able to do that transition. But definitely, you cannot be a travel nurse unless you have at least a year to two. I wouldn't even recommend a year. I'd say at least 2 years or more in your specialty area. Why do I say that? Because you're not going to get any orientation really as a traveler, right? As a traveler, you should already be mastering what it is that you're specialized in, right? So I was already uh, an expert ER nurse, and that's where I made that nice transition because I only got 2 days of orientation anywhere that I went. Typically, you get an orientation of how to use the computer system, a quick orientation or tour of your unit, and you may get put with a nurse maybe for like half a shift, or maybe if you're lucky, a full shift, and then you're on your own after that. So don't think that you're going to get this massive orientation as a travel nurse. The expectation is that you already know everything because nursing is nursing and that you're just expected to just learn as you go. And that's why I always talk about one of the greatest skills as a nurse is having that adaptability, right? We can just adapt to anything, especially in places like the ER, where things are constantly changing, right? Or in the ICU, you need to be able to move quickly and adapt, right? And again, maybe you like a more controlled setting like the OR. But that's something also, if you're a new nurse and you're not sure what specialty area to get into, you need to do a lot of reflection. And that's something I help my clients with is to gain that clarity about where it is that you really should be in your specialty area, right? So so I went on to travel nursing, and then throughout my career, I was always naturally taking students, right? So student nurses would come in and they would say, "Oh, who wants to take the student nurse?" I'm like, "I'll take them, I'll take them." And then you would have the other nurses like rolling their eyes, like, "Oh, I don't want a nursing student." But I love nursing students. I love taking them. I love teaching. So then I realized, wow, I should really go into education because I was always a preceptor. I always took other nurses and really trained them. Even as a travel nurse, they had me train other travel nurses, um, you know, different hospitals that I was at. They used to call me the trauma queen because they always put me in the trauma area. But I loved it because it's just such a systematic way in trauma. And I absolutely loved it. So, like I said, I became a travel nurse and then it was a smooth transition into education. I got my master's in education and then the hardship came, right? I um I got my master's, right? And I was trying to get a job in the ER as a nurse educator. But for some reason, I could not get it. I kept applying and applying and applying. And the nurse manager at the time just didn't have, just, you know, didn't like me, I guess you could say, right? And I'm just being real because there's certain people that you'll learn that will get promoted, even if they don't have the qualifications, right? So I had three ER certifications. I had my master's in education, which was a requirement of the position, but for some reason, they gave it to someone else. And then that's when I realized, you know, if my talents, right, are not being appreciated, and I'm not getting the positions that I deserve, right, then it's time to move on. So that's when I realized I need to take my talents somewhere else, right? Like LeBron said, right? To South Beach, right? So I actually moved to a different location. And that's something that you have to consider. If you are currently in a position where you're not growing or they're not giving you opportunity for growth and advancement, then you need to really take a hard look and think, do I still need to be in this position or this organization if they're not giving me opportunities for growth, right? Then that's when you need to transition and just leave and go somewhere else because you definitely need to be able to transition in your role, right? Um, so that's what I did, and I became an educator. And it's funny because I always say, when it rains, it pours, right? I was determined. It took me 2 years after getting my master's in education to land an education position. But guess what? I not only landed one education job, I landed two at the same time. And I could have easily said, I can't take both. And the one educator position was 5 days a week, and the other one was a clinical adjunct position at NYU, where I had to do clinicals once a week. So I didn't want to leave that opportunity behind. So I basically negotiated uh, with the one position and said, I need to work 4 days a week so I can take this other position that I've been applying for. So I actually got both. I was an educator on a unit for a small ICU and an ortho unit, med surg unit, and I was able to still take that NYU position as adjunct faculty and do what I love and teach nursing students. And honestly, that was one of my favorite positions, was teaching nursing students. I want to take a comment. I have been yearning to be a coach and need to fully understand the approach and how I can bring down this to my area of work. Okay, so I guess it depends. I'm not sure if you are a nurse or what area that you're currently in. Um, but definitely, I would say the way that I became a nurse career coach is obviously through experience. I was always just coaching other nurses, mentoring nurses, and I thought, as a new nurse, I didn't have something like this. I didn't have somebody who could coach me and guide me through my career. So that's why I decided that I should open up this business as a nurse career coach and help other nurses and make that impact. Because a lot of new graduate nurses or even nursing students come out of school and they're not sure how to navigate, number one, that transition from nursing school to nursing practice. And they're not sure, maybe clinically, how to do certain things. They may feel a lack of confidence, and just maybe not strong in their clinical skills. So that's something that I help them with. And then they're not sure what the job process is like. So I help them through that application, how to interview, how to create, a really strong resume, and cover letter, and really how to be confident and how to change their mindset. And not only for new nurses, there's a lot of experienced nurses that have a lot of self doubt, self limiting beliefs. And even though they have the abilities to go on into leadership positions, to go on into education positions like leadership, like academia, and be professors, sometimes they hold themselves back and they feel, oh, maybe I'm not ready. Maybe I'm not good enough. So I help them with that confidence and that transition to just make that next step um, into those positions. So that's why I just knew I naturally was just always coaching and mentoring nurses, and that's how it developed into a business. So you could just take that framework, whatever it is that you feel your expertise is in, and just turn it into a coaching business. And the platform that I'm mostly on is LinkedIn, and that's how I just share my content, my values, and provide educational content to nurses and really share what I do here on LinkedIn. So if you're interested, I think you should go for it and become a coach. And if you are a nurse out there watching and perhaps you want to start your side hustle or your side business and you're not sure how to do it, definitely reach out to me. I can also coach you through that, and step by step, and that also is part of what I do as part of my services as well, besides the resumes and cover letters and interview skills and that. So I could definitely help you through that transition. And for those who are maybe interested in business, and if you're a nurse, there's an awesome organization out there called the NNBA. So the National Nurses Association, Nurses in Business, right? Um, and I joined a few months back, and it's been an amazing experience. I was able to connect with the president and CEO of the NNBA, and I'll drop a link later to let you know how to register. It's actually very affordable. It's just like a yearly membership. You could do it as a nursing student. There's a special rate for you. I think it might be like $99. And if you're a nurse currently thinking about going into business, or maybe you are a nurse in business, right? An entrepreneur, a nursepreneur, and you want to learn how to scale your business or how to do different things, they have so many great resources. And they actually have a conference every year that I'll be attending actually in August. It's in Vegas. So I'm going to drop a link later on how to sign up, and I believe it's about $160 or something, or 169. Don't quote me on that. But go to, when I drop the link, go to the site and check it out and sign up. Awesome, awesome organization. I can't say enough great things about the NNBA, right? So, because as a nurse, you got to think that there's other opportunities, right? You can't just be narrow minded and think, oh, all I can do is just nursing, right? There's so many other opportunities. And that leads into my transition. So like I said, I went into education. I ended up becoming an educator. I then took some leadership positions as the assistant director in education and then director of education. And funny enough, that was my dream job, actually, to become the director of education, right, in a hospital setting. And I absolutely loved it. Um, and if you're watching, please say hello, drop any comments, questions, concerns, let me know. I love to chat. Um, and like I said, I'm a career coach. If you want to connect and you want to learn more about my services, definitely let me know. And again, these are paid services, because sometimes I get some some messages that um, people just want me to help them, right? Which I do offer a lot of guidance and things like that. But my I have a link, a Calendly link on my LinkedIn, which you could hit and connect and set up a consultation call where I go through all my services. So you could definitely check that out. If you happen to be on a different platform, like I said, LinkedIn is the main platform that I'm constantly on. And if you want to just directly message me, you can message me through email and just shoot me an email. If you're interested in working with me, it's Farah Laurent, INC at Gmail. So Farah Laurent, INC at Gmail. And I could drop that link. When I drop the link, I'll also drop my email as well. Um, so, like I said, I landed my dream job, right, of being the director of education. Absolutely loved it. And then I was only in the position for about 10 or close to 11 months or so. And then boom, in a literally few minutes, less than 5 minutes, right? I was let go. They laid me off and they said that the company was restructuring, and corporate made a decision that affected my position along with some other positions, and they literally let me go uh, within minutes, right? And that's when I realized even more so the importance of creating a side hustle for yourself where you can at least have some income coming in and you don't have to directly rely on one source of income, which is your employer, right? And that's why I encourage a lot of you nurses out there, if you are thinking of starting a business, do it now. Stop thinking you do not need money to make money. Absolutely wrong. You can start a business right now. It is very simple, right? So, like I said, if you're interested to learn more, definitely message me because, you know, having financial stability and freedom is so important. Especially a lot of nurses are living paycheck to paycheck. We have mortgages, rent, bills to pay, we have kids, right? Family members to support. So it's funny to me that employers expect a certain amount of loyalty from their employees, but they are so quick to lay you off or whatever in a split second, right? So remember that, right? And build something for yourself at least on the side. Yeah, you can't really probably jump into it full time through entrepreneurship, but you need to at least start, right? So if you're thinking about it and you're serious, I would highly encourage you to message me and I could go through the steps of how, I did it and I'm still doing it through this journey. And this is the reason why I wanted to come on and share my journey so far. And I'm going to wrap it up soon, but cuz I got to go pick up my son for an appointment, but you know, it's just so important, right? Because as nurses, we want to get to a certain financial freedom and have more freedom for our families, right? Especially if we have little ones and young ones, right? Because a lot of times we're working 12-hour shifts, 10-hour shifts, and it's very difficult to balance everything. So, even when you're looking for that new position, think about not just the money, but think about how it's going to impact your life, your family's life, or maybe just your lifestyle, right? Do you want to work 12-hour shifts? Do you want to work 10s? Do you want to work 8s? Do you want to negotiate your salary to at least, be comfortable? But you need to ask for more. A lot of people do not ask, and you need to negotiate. That's something I help my clients with as well. Um, or maybe flexibility in your scheduling, right? So you need to look at all that. Um, So, definitely if you want to start a side hustle, don't think twice, just go and just start because the longer you wait, you're just never going to start it, so just jump into it and that's what I did, right? I was thinking about it for a while and then I finally just jumped into it and just started, right? And it might start off slow and that's okay, but it's a journey like I said. So, you know, I was not discouraged when that happened. And that's the hardships, right? You're going to come through challenges and hardships throughout your career, but it's how you handle them, right? I always try to look at the positive side of things and um, just be resilient, right? They use that word a lot, but honestly, I think I'm somebody who has a lot of grit and perseverance. And I know that no matter what, I'm going to succeed. And I'm always looking at that positive And that's why you need to build up your resume and not just leave it to the last minute. It needs to be prepared. You need to be constantly updating your resume, cover letters, and tailoring it to different positions. And maybe you're in a position now, you're comfortable, you're like, you like it, but don't be afraid to apply for something else just to go for that interview, right? Just to get your skills up there, right? You don't want to just, not brush up your skills and then boom, something happens. You have to look for a different position and now you're rushing to like get your resume ready, prepare for interviews or whatever the case is. So be ready, right? Constantly be ready because you don't know what's going to happen. And that's what happened with me. I knew that like I said, I'm 6 times board certified. I have 6 certifications. I had my master's, so much experience behind me. So I said, I'm not afraid. I'm good. I'm gonna find a position. Um, and that's what I did. Several weeks later, I landed a couple interviews, got a couple different job offers, and actually transitioned into academia in a leadership role. Right. So definitely, like I said, when you have hardships or challenges, just learn how to pivot and think about what are the solutions, right? And think about maybe this was not the right job for me, or maybe it was time for me to leave, right? And I'm someone who believes in God and I have faith, right? And I knew that maybe that was the sign for me. That was God taking me out of a position that I no longer needed to be in to find me something better, to go into a different path, right? So have comfort in that. And if you're looking for positions, just be positive and be intentional about the positions that you choose. And again, it's something that I help my clients with. One client actually had like 3 job offers. She didn't know which one to go to. And I helped her navigate it in like literally 5 minutes. And she was able to make her choice. And she was like, wow, I can't believe, you helped me make this life decision in just like a few minutes. And it was just a couple questions that I asked her. And she just really was intentional and looked at as a whole, how what was the best position for her, right? And sometimes it's not all about just money, right? You got to think about your commute, your benefits, the whole package, right? So like I said, I ended up going into an academia position, and I've been in this business now, the nurse career coach business, for just over a year. And it's been such a wonderful experience. The impact that I'm able to make in people's lives, and the messages that I've received from past clients, and even just people watching my content and telling me, how helpful my tips are, or watching my videos or reading my comments, or me just sharing my story with them has helped them. It just brings me a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment, and reassures me to know that this is truly what I'm meant to do, right? And this is what I love. And eventually, hopefully one day, this will be something that I'm doing um, pretty much, full time. And again, and it's okay to go baby steps, right? And have that side hustle. So if you're definitely interested in starting that business, again, can't tell you enough, start it now, right? And I didn't mention this earlier, but like I said, you are some badass nurses out there, right? And if you want to continue to level up and continue to be badass in your area and just live your best life, right? That's what I'm all about. And I help my clients get there, right? So, I'm just so happy for this platform on LinkedIn and being able to share my experiences, my knowledge, my expertise with all of you. I hope this was helpful. So, drop it in the comments. Let me know if this was helpful, if this was valuable for you. If you have any questions, please drop them. I would love to address them, even if you're watching the replay. Or if you don't want to put it, publicly, please just message me on LinkedIn, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you may have. Or if you'd like me to cover any future topics doing these lives, definitely let me know. And I will definitely consider any future nursing topics, whether it's like how to interview better. And if you want to also watch my past videos, just go ahead and look through my videos. I have tons of stuff on interviewing and different tips like that. And you can also just hit my bell on LinkedIn to follow more of my content. And again, welcome to the Nursing Dose with Farah, another episode, wonderful episode of the Nursing Dose. I'm going to try to go back to being more consistent and go back to how I used to have my guests on every week. It's been a little crazy because I don't think I told you guys, but I'm in a doctoral program. I'm in a DNP program, and God willing, I will be done sometime next year, right? So busy with that. I have two small little ones, married with the little one, so it's super busy. But just to tell you that it is possible, right? If you're intentional, you prioritize, time manage. I know it's not easy, but it is possible. Okay, so and again, for those of you studying for your NCLEX, hang in there. For those of you graduating soon, hang in there. Um, you know, we are in one of the best professions ever, and I'm so proud to be a nurse and be able to be on this platform. So I appreciate LinkedIn and all the other platforms that are watching, and everybody watching. Thank you for your time. I truly appreciate it. Until next time, have a great day and happy holidays. Okay, and thank you, Ronald from Kenya watching, and thank you for your question. I appreciate it. All right.